My name's Josh, otherwise known as Top Hat Painter. I'm going to do myself a little how-to, step-by-step thing for some of you guys out there who have some interest doing portraits. This isn't a typical portrait. It's not straight. It's not a typical portrait. It's not a straightforward front-on shot. It's actually my good friend Biggie Smalls here. Found this magazine clipping, going through some stuff, trying to figure out what I was going to do for my little tutorial. I like working on black surfaces with white paint. These highly shadowed, the highly shadowed individuals look good on this kind of paper. I'm going to freehand draw it out with some chalk, some white chalk. I'm not going to use any computers or anything like that because I'm kind of lazy. Not everybody has a scanner, not everybody has a printer. So I'm just going to doodle out my little, whatever you call it. I like to show people how little amount of sketching I do and should be done when you're doing this kind of stuff. It limits the amount of damage you can do to whatever substrate you're working on, especially if you're working on metal or somebody's car. It's good practice. I like to start with the eye. The eyes usually give you a landmark. It's one of the reasons why I like chalk. It usually comes right off, and it doesn't really damage the substrate. I'm actually doing more sketching than I usually do. You can see there's a lot there. There's a lot going on. That's what I like to do. For now, I'm just going to work with this guy, my favorite little airbrush. I almost never paint with this cap on the airbrush. That does leave my little needle exposed. I like to bring this up. I know most artists seem to know about this, but I went 2 years airbrushing without having any idea that you could take that cap off and still airbrush. And when I did, it completely changed how I airbrush. So I like to try to make sure that everybody understands that. I'm a little nervous. I always get really nervous the first time I lay some paint. I'm using this cheap construction paper, cheap black construction paper, 50 sheets for like $4, $3. It's very absorbent. Alright, so I can already tell that I got my eye too far away from my nose. It's in the early stages, so it's okay. More than likely what I'll do then is I'll make a little bit of his features a little bigger and sort of try to meet him in that direction. And we're going to go with this nose area. We're going to raise this up just a little higher, and we're going to see if we can't meet that difference. If not, well, then he's just going to look a little funny, isn't he? Not really looking like much now, is it? But it will. You try to get as much as you can with the white, so you have less work to do with the black, but you're not going to get it all with the white. You're going to have a lot of overspray, you're going to have a lot of problems. You just try to get all you can with it, and then later come in with your black. A lot of repeatedly going over the same areas over and over again. I think a lot of beginners try to just get that thing right the first time. Blast it with the exact amount of color that they want on there the first time it hits the paper. And that just really isn't going to work. It's not going to work. It's subtle, light amounts until you get to what you want. And the reason why you have to do that is it builds richness. It's a way to make it richer. You never have a chance of going over too much. A lot of times you can't go back once you've got too much on there. Yeah. Here's something. I want to do this. I want to do this sharp line. There's a real subtle sharp line in here where the shadow is, and I don't want to get out of stencil. I want to cut something out, not because I'm lazy in this event, but because stencils are very, very easy to overwork. But I do want kind of a sharp line, so I'm going to use my thumb. Kind of give that a nice little sharpened effect there. Rule number 2 when doing portraits, don't paint what you've already decided you can't paint. Don't paint a nose when you have problems with noses. Paint a circle with some extra stuff attached to it. You're not painting a nose, you're painting the shape of the nose. You're painting the shapes that make up the nose. If it helps, draw some shapes that are similar to noses and try to turn them into noses. Too many people get caught up on the fact that they can't draw eyes, they can't draw ears, they can't draw mouths. But if you can draw a tongue, you're drawing a nose. It's the same principles, the same basic makeup. It's a bunch of lines, a bunch of shapes. Now when you're doing the faces like this, on this type of paper, whatever, black, it's really easy to get the basic textures of the face down without coming in with any special tools or anything like that. You know, when you're doing a motorcycle, they don't want to see you out there with a typewriter pencil erasing texture on their bike. It's just not something that's going to happen. So you kind of learn to just fuzzy around with the airbrush, fiddle around with it, get things kind of where they are. I see I'm going to need to fix this up line here, some lip areas that need some work. I'm thinking about all this stuff as I'm going. I'm thinking about it right now. This is the stuff I'm going to fix with black. This isn't stuff I'm going to fix with erasers. This isn't stuff I'm going to fix with stencils. I'm going to come back in with the black, and I'm going to touch this nose area up. I'm going to darken this up. I'm going to fix that little mole there. I'm going to straighten this lines on the lips up a little bit. I'm going to smooth that cheek out a little bit. I'm going to pray that the eye fits everything. And but for now, I'm just going to keep going with white. Soften some of my chalk lines up because I realize it's a little too heavy. I can see I made this area too narrow where the sleeve is, so more than likely this whole area that I've sketched out is going to be completely changed. That's alright. These things happen. Okay, looks like we're starting to get a better representation of Biggie here. Somehow the rest of this picture has made that eye work. It's really weird. I went all the way around here, I haven't done anything with that eye. Nothing with the eye. It's starting to work. Some black here. This is actually a black and blue mixture. Black and bright blue. Maybe a little bit of bright blue, not a lot. 2 drops to maybe 10 drops of black. And a little bit of water. And the reason for that is it's going to want to bring out the blue that's already in the white. The weird fluorescent, the weird titanium flake blue that's in. I'm not going to be covering every surface of this thing with this black. I will lightly dust most of this, only to make the paint consistent on all of the paper. What can happen is, because of the type of paint being laid down as opposed to the paper, the way it reacts with the light will cause it to look kind of shiny just where you put the black down. It's very, very limiting. It kind of messes everything up, and just kind of a light dusting in the areas where you wanted a deep black will help kind of cut that down.